Guess who's thirsty? I am, and I know there's gonna be some drinking today.
Well, there is going to be some, it's more like chewing today instead of drinking, but you get the same alcohol out of it. So here we go. Today, we are making some Guinness beer boba.
Ooh.
We have to combine our beer with our agar-agar. Right? Agar.
Vegetable gelatin substitute.
It's very fancy and very effective in this recipe. We are going to measure out 3/4 cup Guinness, and then we are going to use 4 grams of agar-agar.
I feel like we're gonna open up the Thanksgiving bar soon because we have so many cocktail recipes.
This recipe is definitely as sciencey as we've gotten. Christopher and I tested this recipe for days trying to get it right. We started using, what was it, sodium alginate and calcium lactate, but we could not get it to work with the alcohol. We could not figure it out to save our life. If anyone is a sodium alginate calcium lactate expert,
spherification or reverse spherification expert,
please contact us. We need help.
The sad thing is that there are children on YouTube doing it and we couldn't figure it out. But I think it's because of
there were.
Trying to do it with alcohol, trying to do
the bubbles and the
with
nitrate.
The carbonated liquid,
It was tricky. We couldn't figure it out. But this method is amazing. Yes.
Okay.
We're gonna heat
I turned
this
it on
baby
medium.
Up. Okay. So I've got my 4 grams of agar-agar, and I'm going to just sprinkle it. So that it mixes nicely. So I just kind of dust it on there. A slow sprinkle.
A fairy dusting, if you will.
Just like with regular, like if you were using gelatin or something, you want it to combine nicely.
And it has to be heated, right? In order for it to gel?
It must be heated. Okay. It is like, just like Jell-O, gelatin, you gotta heat it a little bit. Okay, so give that a good stir.
Mixy.
Obviously you have to cook this recipe, which means that if you were to just do it like this, you would cook out a lot of the alcohol, which was not the point of this experiment. We wanted to make alcoholic boba. So the first time I did it, I tried this method. It worked. We got a cool product, but it didn't have a lot of alcohol in it. So
that's
what
a
I
problem.
did, which kind of defeats the point, right? Because then like we might as well just give you orange juice or something. So what we did is we did a double recipe. So this is 4 grams of agar-agar into 3/4 cup Guinness. We're gonna cook this up, let it cool a little bit, and add in another 3/4 cup Guinness.
Oh, so you're making kind of like a concentrated gelatin mixture before you add in more beer to refortify the alcohol content.
Exactly.
You're a genius.
Without cooking out all your alcohol.
You're a mad genius.
Thank you. So still maybe not like quite as concentrated as Guinness, but it'll do the trick.
All right, well, let's wait patiently as this comes to temperature.
And I would recommend kind of stirring it as you go.
Oh, just make sure no clumps.
Yeah, it'll start to get a little thick as it heats up, which is what you want.
We've been having quite a few adventures with agar-agar, right?
Yes, okay, we tried to make vegan, sugar-free marshmallows.
Vegan marshmallows.
So far, and sugar-free.
Yo.
This is like, isn't even a marshmallow. So far, we're failing at that recipe.
But it worked in this.
Give us time.
It worked in this.
But agar-agar I always call it agar-agar.
Agar. Agar-agar.
Yes.
Agar-agar.
Worked very well for this purpose. You can just eat this on its own, like how we have it displayed here in our beautiful little martini glass. If you wanna, sure, please taste away. So if you just wanna take a spoon to it.
You know what this is like reminiscent of? It's kind of like a Jell-O shot, but like in a different form.
Yeah, yes. It is like a Jell-O shot. They end up tasting really, it tastes like jelly to me. It's like Guinness jelly.
Guinness jelly, but it's really good.
You can use any sort of alcohol you want. The ratio's the same. I tried it with whiskey and it worked. We also tried it with champagne. It also works.
It sounds like excuses just to have bottles of alcohol around.
I was wondering if it would work with any kind of liquor, and the answer is yes. So
Jessica's
far,
in the kitchen, like, will it gel?
The next
Whiskey,
thing I want to try
rum.
is I want to do a wine one. Look for that recipe coming soon. Okay, so this is starting to get heated.
Yeah.
You want it to start simmering, so you'll know you're ready for your next step, which is dumping in 1/4 cup brown sugar into this guy and letting that melt as well. But wait until it is at a nice simmer before you do that.
Tiny bubbles in my Guinness.
Yep,
That's
we're
what I'm looking
ready for it. I tried a 1/2 cup sugar at first, and it was just too sweet. You don't want to ruin the nice, rich flavor of the alcohol by making these bobas too sweet. So I think 1/4 cup, if you're gonna double the recipe like we did, it's perfect.
I see bubbles.
Ah, there we go.
I see bubbles.
Beautiful. Okay, now we're gonna dump in our 4th cup sugar. It's brown sugar, so it's sticking.
Oh,
there we go.
There we go.
All right, stir that in, let it melt, make sure it's all mixed, let it simmer a little bit. It should only take a couple more minutes from here.
But I can already tell it's getting a little thick.
We'll see even on like the end of your spoon. Look, you're getting a little thickness on there.
Yeah,
That's
so
good.
it's probably a good idea. Is just make sure to scrape the bottom so
Stir
no
it,
sugar
scrape your
burns.
bottoms.
Scrape your bottoms.
Scrape your bottoms.
You know, as we tend to do in the kitchen,
we
scrape
do.
our bottoms.
I think we're good. We will go ahead and take
really
this
bubbling.
off the heat. All right, so let that cool for a couple minutes. Before you start cooking your Guinness, you want to get some vegetable oil. This is just 100% pure vegetable oil. The reason we use vegetable oil is because it doesn't have a strong flavor. It's
Something neutral.
Something
neutral
neutral.
oil.
Find a container that's tall and long like this. We used a milkshake container. This is going to be what you put your boba in. It's gonna help it form. So you want something that will give it a long travel period, so it'll form into a sphere as it goes down and hardens.
The other thing we have is like a tall vase, like a glass vase. If you have like one of those tall vases, just go ahead and clean that up real good and go ahead and use that as well.
This actually works really well. The key to this ingredient though is you're gonna put it in the freezer for 30 minutes
super
to
cold
get
oil.
the oil nice and cold. You don't want warm oil, otherwise your boba's not gonna form.
So much science in the kitchen. This is so rich and deep and oh my goodness.
This will start to form. If you take too long, it'll start to harden and gel. If that happens, throw it back on the stove for a couple minutes.
So what was the measurement of the additional Guinness again?
Yes, 3/4 cup.
Okay, that was a fail, but oh well, we'll just go with it.
It's fine.
A little bit more than 3/4 cup is not a problem here.
Actually, it is.
Oh, well, okay. I'll just sip off the excess. I'll sip off the excess.
It's kind of a fine line. You want it cool enough that it'll form when it goes through your oil, but hot enough that it's still a liquid.
I think these there's all the molecular gastronomy, all this kind of using science in the kitchen, science and food to turn things into different shapes and forms is so fun. Now you can play with your food and it's okay.
Our recipe is getting real foamy, as you can see. It'll calm down, but it also doesn't matter too much. You can kind of get under the foam with your eyedropper.
Because the foam and the bubbles probably won't set as well in the
bubbles don't set as well. For the next step of this recipe, you need a cup of water, or a dish of water, not a cup specifically, but a dish filled with clean water. Your oil, chilled, an empty container, and a strainer, and we recommend a slotted spoon and eyedroppers.
Ooh. Where'd you find the agar-agar? Do they have that in the regular grocery store?
You know, that's a good question. I didn't find it.
Oh.
Lauren found it, but I think she ordered it off Amazon.
Oh. You can get anything on Amazon, but I think they sell it in stores. They have it. It's more and more common to have stuff like that in normal grocery stores these
definitely.
days, or at least specialty stores.
I've heard that you can get it at Asian food markets too, normally.
Okay. Is it ready, or do we have to wait for this to cool a little bit?
Nope, we should be ready to go. This is the fun step and the easy step. You just grab some of your Guinness mixture in the eyedropper.
A little dose of medicine.
And drop.
Spoonful of Guinness helps the medicine go down.
Look at those.
What?
Beautiful.
That
Beautiful.
is frickin' cool.
So cool.
This is just so fun to make. I mean, don't make this recipe with kids, but I'm sure follow this recipe, but with a juice or something could be really fun for kids.
I tried it with orange juice because I thought it would be fun to put in mimosas. Works like a charm.
And two, you could refrigerate these, get these super cold, so they're kind of like little icy cubies.
You can reuse this oil continuously for the whole batch. The only thing that's gonna affect the oil is if it gets too warm, you might have to pop it back in the freezer for a little bit. Scoop some out. You can also, this is why I have the strainer here, you can also use the strainer and strain the oil into another container and catch the boba with the strainer. But a slotted spoon works really well too. And then dump these guys into your water. Give them a nice stir.
Get all that oil
Get
off.
the excess oil off. And then you have bobas.
This came together so quick.
And how fun would this be for a party, a summer barbecue? This would just add a lot of fun to a party.
I know, I love offering something different. When I'm throwing a party or going to a party, you want to bring something that's people are like, oh, unexpected.
Yes.
And this is one of those things, so it's so great.
And it really doesn't take that long. These I actually kept, I made these 2 days ago, and they're great.
Yeah, they're still great. So
at least 2 days.
A couple days in advance you can make them.
I even put them in some liquid to test it and see if it would dissolve. And I kept it in the liquid for maybe 2 hours and it didn't dissolve. So you can also prep your cocktails ahead of time and leave them sitting a little bit at the party and it won't dissolve the bobas.
But I just like this technique. I feel like you could do it with so many different things. It's so pretty. It's like a lava lamp of flavor in here.
A lava lamp of flavor.
It is, it looks like a lava lamp.
Leave it to Christopher to so perfectly describe this recipe. You can even run these under running water if you don't want to have a cup of water. These will hold their shape surprisingly well.
Well, what are we gonna do with these next?
What should we do with them? Okay, like I mentioned, you can just eat them like this out of a martini glass, serve them after dinner as kind of a fun little treat. Or my personal favorite method here, grab yourself a shot glass, Christopher. We will put these guys in our shot glass. Baileys, please, sir.
Uh-oh. There you are.
Just drizzle a little bit of your Baileys.
Oh, look
right
at
on
how
top.
fun is that? That's so cool.
Part about this too is because we have made our Guinness into little spheres, it won't curdle.
Ah, because
So
that usually
you can enjoy
happens.
it. Yes, so you don't have to shoot this. In fact, I recommend you sip it.
I'd spike this up maybe with another little top of whiskey on there.
Oh, absolutely you could.
Absolutely. Because there's just not enough in here. There's just not enough.
But for a little, I mean, after dinner, if you serve this at a party.
After dinner, treat.
Yes.
Oh my goodness.
Cheers.
Oh my goodness.
So fun.
I'm loving it.
There we go.
Well, it's 5:30 somewhere. It's 5 o'clock.
5 o'clock somewhere.
I wait till 5:30. I can't be, the first one to happy hour.
It's happy hour time.
Well, it's not even lunchtime yet. Oh, it is.
It is. It's lunchtime.
It's past 10 o'clock. We can drink.
We
It's
can
fine.
drink. It's like brunch.